People were something to see.
Did you tell Josh to shut the doors? The black light all over the light.
He's not even there.
Oh.
I will text him.
Hey Josh, when you show up, when you show up to kill the lights, it plunges into the darkness.
That's all the chillins.
Because, yeah, we want it completely dark.
This is the John Cage piece.
Oh. Yeah. Actually, I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, it should, instead of 433 written for piano, it should be written for trumpet.
Well, see, that's how I was going to make all that money by just arranging it.
But
Remember,
the
you gotta
trumpet,
change every other chord vertically and horizontally.
I think every instrument should have some nuance. Like a trumpet player wouldn't even bother. So the trumpet player would like walk in, look at the trumpet, and then walk away for 3 minutes and 4 minutes and 33 seconds. The tuba player ends up playing for no reason, even though he's not supposed to. But in theory 4, we've gone chronologically now into we did Philip Glass today, but we're doing like minimalism and stuff. So I showed them a live version of Einstein on the beach. I don't know. I think it's a little late in the semester. It made them angry.
Well, that's good. You don't have to deal with that anger much longer.
There's somebody else's problem now. But the fact that like that piece is just like it's like over an hour long. It's played by real instruments.
Yeah.
Like that, I played a couple of movements from that thing, and it's awful. Like, so I've had woodwind players that just like they cut their mouths because it's constant.
Yeah.
And you got to pay attention. So. Brass players have great attention spans. We got to be present. Here she goes. She opens the doors.
One year ago, a historic collection of tubas was located in the Colorado Rocky Mountains by Tristan Hagner of Powell, Wyoming, home of the Northwest College and Dr. Robert Rumbles. The tubas had been dormant for over 60 years and had been saved from hanging unceremoniously in basements, outdoor sheds, and on the walls of Chili's, Applebee's, and TGI Fridays. Dr. Fred Feismo, the owner of these magnificent hoards, agreed that they would be safest under the care of Northwest College and its feisty music department. The Helicons have journeyed from all over the world and represent the historic brass tradition of the United States from over 120 years ago. And now, they have arrived.
Again, check it directed, let's begin. Party on, party people, let me hear some noise. DC's in the house, jump, rejoices. There's a party over here, a party over there. Wave your hands in the air, shake the dairy, yeah. These 3 words, when you're getting busy. Whoa, there it is, hey man. Woo, there it is. 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 Upside down and inside out. I'm about to show all you folks what it's all about. Now it's time for it.
Yeah, Helicon action.
1, 2, 3.
right. Let's see here. Josh, give me some mic. Hello. Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Brass Spectacular 2022 with the Northwest College Brass Ensemble. So you're probably wondering, what was all that nonsense in the beginning? Well, let me tell you about that nonsense. We have this huge, wonderful collection of helicons that has come to us through a donation to the Northwest Foundation and the Friends of Music. And now we are the curators of this wonderful collection. I wouldn't recommend playing them yet. They need to be thoroughly cleaned because it's been about 100 years. And I've tried playing them and I got sick. And I won't play them again until they've been dunked in acid, light acid, and thoroughly polished. But it's a wonderful, wonderful collection. You can see this E-flat tuba. This is the one that started it all right here. In the middle, it's the shiniest one. I had it professionally cleaned. It's my own personal horn. That was my dream horn that I always wanted. Dr. Fred Feisnold, who hooked me up with the rest of the collection, kept trying to sell me the rest of these. And I said, Dr. Fred, look, I don't need 25, 30 helicons. By the way, a helicon is a tuba. Every helicon is a tuba, but not every tuba is a helicon. Helicon is just like an old sousaphone. But you can see they clean up real nice, and they can sound really good. But we are very happy to have these horns here. I remember when we were going to go get them from the Rocky Mountains, and our vice president said, Tristan, what are you going to do with these horns? Well, as you can see, I have my own collection of helicons with hats that you might have seen as you were walking in. I think there might be some children's book in the future. But also our own helicon ensemble. So lots of plans for these horns. This is brass history. It's really fascinating stuff. I geek out about it. I know Tom Bibby, this is, you're going to help me a lot with what we're going to do with these. But we have a brass concert here. It's not just about helicons. That first piece that you heard us play was called Die Bankelsänger-Lieder. Who speaks German here? Any German speakers? Bankelsänger-Lieder. Yeah, I didn't know what it meant either, but it literally translates to bench singer, or singer who sings about non-sacred things. This is the type of musician you'd find in a tavern, and they would sing about, well, how do they put it? This guy was into political commentary and novels, and but bench singer refers to traveling musicians who performed in local taverns standing on benches and singing off-color songs. So it sounds noble, but it was actually about, well, whatever is in your mind, in the gutter. Anyway, let's move on to something a little before that time, because I think we should go back in time from the 17th century to Tilman Susato. These are 3 dances that he wrote. People liked to dance back then, and these were 3 of them, called the Ronde, the Pavane, and the Saltarelli. Now, we're going to have Tom Bibby perform these dances, but he declined, so you won't get to witness it. But you can see pictures up on the slide of what a rager would look like back in the 16th century. So imagine these people in these clothes dancing to this music to a band that just wants to hit the buffet. So, please enjoy 3 dances by Tilman Susato. back in the day, that's what they would play for prom. I would like to hand the mic over now as we invite our Cody contingent. We have students from Cody High School here. Let's give them a hand for being here. They'll be joining us for a song. But I'd like to hand this over to Rob Rumbles, the guy that made this all possible.
The next tune is called Agazzoli. It is an interesting manifestation from a gentleman who is a doctor of music, Dr. Pascal Young. He grew up in the Anlo Ewe community in Aflao, Ghana, near the border of Togo, and near the ocean, beautiful spot. And his dad was, I believe, a church organist, and his mom was like a cult singer in the traditional religion. He had a really interesting take on all the different things, and he ran the Roman Catholic brass band, and most all the bands are sponsored by somebody in Ghana, whether it's military, police, or businesses, or the church. People don't own their own instruments usually, but he had this group, and I guess traditionally, or over the years, throughout the colonial period, the Catholics were among the most welcoming to incorporate traditional sounds and traditional instruments and traditional aspects into, the Presbyterian Brass Band Guild does not do this, I will say that. So I did research there several years ago, and this is a transcription of Pascal Young's Agazzoli. It's to the dance rhythm of Agbaja. It's a traditional wedding, or funeral music, I should say, and the tune is a setting of a Yeve cult tune. And we won't be dancing tonight, sir.
Some of us might be.
Okay. Yeah. Here, you got it.
Yeah. So nice to have great drums there. So up next, that was a lot of fun. And so the dance that we were doing, I wasn't right at all, but we did our best impersonation of what we saw on YouTube. That's a lot of fun. Thank you, Rob, for putting that together. Now I'd like to hand this over to the spokesperson of the Cody crew. Is that you? Oh, here we go.
So we played this for solo ensemble. It's Abide With Me, not Abide By Me like it says on the program.
I got that wrong, really wrong.
It's arranged by D. Marlaw.
Abide With Me. When I originally made the program, I thought they were playing something else entirely. But that was beautiful, guys. Very nice. We love having our Cody contingent here to play with us and to play their own piece, and that was beautiful. So let's keep things moving. It's time for some battle music. All right, Samuel Scheidt. All right, he's known amongst many brass players, not just because of his name, but because it rhymes with flight, because that's the way you got to play his music. Now this goes back now to the 17th century, going into the Baroque era, actually. So most of the pieces that we played so far, do you think they were actually written for brass? Yes. No, they weren't. Okay. Samuel Scheidt wrote mostly for organ and keyboard instruments. His main job was an organist. Then there's like the 30 Years' War, and he somehow survived that. And then he's like, I got to keep writing music because I love doing it. So I mean, writing about battle music has always been done, from Tchaikovsky with 1812, with actual live cannons being used, to the chimes, the sounds of war. People listening to this are like, it doesn't sound like a battle. Well, you're right. This isn't programmatic music, but it is meant to be with all the flourishes and all there's an antiphonal thing going on, where there's trumpets over here, and there's trumpets over there, and they're fighting. So I always think of this as it's a battle suite, but it's a battle between first and second trumpet. Let's find out who wins by Samuel Scheidt. Wow. So I can't declare a winner because, trumpet players are sensitive, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So I think the real winner here is the audience, all right? That's the real winner, and the Battlestar Galactica, no, the Baglet, whatever it was. Anyway, okay, so you've heard mostly stuff from the 16th and 17th century now. How about we get with the times, huh? Let's get in our time machines and go forward to, 1880, about there. So I found this deep in the books of of the brass quintet books. I'm like, I've never played this. I've never heard it played. So
I'm like, guys, we're gonna play it. And they all complained, and they're like, this is dumb. Like, no, we're gonna do it. This is the Nautical Medley by D.L. Walters. So we've identified the one song that's in this that we recognize. It's the, you guys remember join me. Sailing, sailing over the and for many a storm and wind, the shell of the air just comes home again. Yeah, that one. All right, I'm not good with words, but that's the song, and that's the one you're going to hear probably about 50,000 times in this medley. If anybody recognizes any other seafaring songs, like within this medley that we didn't hear, I'm not a sailor. I don't have some sailors here. There are some sailors here. So let us know afterwards if you recognize something. But this is D.L. Walters' Nautical Medley. Here we go. All right, there we spent some time at sea. I think somewhere in the middle there's another tune that I don't recognize it, and just maybe somebody has. So there's one thing that I have not been taking for granted. It's the fact that we get to have concerts still. Josh, could you turn the background to maybe blue or something? Or I could use a different vibe. Oh, there we go. Thank you. I am so happy to be at a place where all year long we've been giving tons of great concerts. We've done festivals. We put on festivals. We've gone to other festivals in Colorado. We played all our concerts with our ensembles. I mean, just the fact that we're able to do that, I still love it so much, and I've missed it for the last couple of years and it being so difficult. So, and it's the end of the concert season. So the people here right now are the ones that's like, give us more music. We need more live shows. So thank you guys for coming out. We got a few more songs for you. Another thing before that I'm thankful for. I'm starting to soapbox. But to have this quality of brass playing in such a remote, maybe remote's not the right word, but to have, it's really fortunate because when I came here 2 years ago, I'm thinking, well, who am I gonna play music with? Like, you know, there's cows. I could play for the cows. But it turns out there's a thriving brass community that is already here. That I just, it just kind of fell into. So I'm so thankful for you guys and the people that have lived here for a long time for, well, pretending to accept me into the circle. But it's just so much fun to be able to play brass with such great musicians. And to have everybody here, it's really, I think it's a magical thing. You're not going to find this everywhere. So a hand for the group, please. Thank you. All right. So, ever since we've left the 16th century, we've been getting closer and closer to our time. And as you can see from the slide up there, the next one is from a very famous band that I think most of you would be familiar with. But this comes from, does anybody know the album this came from? You can probably tell from up there. Which Beatles album was When I'm 64 on? Do they know? I'm hearing murmurings of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart. Yes. Yes, it was. And a couple quick facts about this. This was written by Paul McCartney, and they said he wrote this when he was 14. So he had always had the song under his belt, and it was one of the first songs that he ever wrote. In the end, as far as the audio mastering, they actually sped up the track so that his voice would sound more youthful. So just a bit of, I think Rob would appreciate that, that fact. But the thing that I always loved about that album was the use of all the instruments, the band instruments they had. This had a trio of clarinets, and even there's a bass clarinet, but there are trumpets and orchestral instruments all through these albums. And it just happens to be another song that, as a brass ensemble, we're going to steal and make our own, because that's what we do. We play other people's music. But this is going to feature our very own Morgan Grover over there on the trumpets on the When I'm 64 solo. And I'd like to invite our Cody contingent to join us for this one. When I'm 64 by John Lennon and Paul McCartney. come to our final piece. And this one's going to be even more modern, but first, the obligatory thank yous. I'd like to thank myself. I wish I wanted to do that. I'd like to thank me. No, in all seriousness, the people that help run the show, those are the true heroes in all this. I mean, other than the practicing that we do. But the production values that you saw here tonight, I'd like to thank, well, first of all, our fearless leader of the music department, Dr. Robert Rumbles. Let's give him a hand. But then you have his minions, and they are in the back booth. We have Josh over there. Let's give a hand for Josh at the control board. And the person in charge of our live streaming, all the camera angles and all the fancy things that goes into the internet. We have Galena in the back. Let's give her a hand. And none of us would be possible, even Rob, without, let's go up the chain of command. Elaine, I think you're in the crowd, aren't you? Let's give Elaine a hand for making this all possible. And I think Elaine's boss is in the crowd as well. So if we could thank the president of the college. Can we, are you here, Lisa? I can't, oh yes, the president, everyone. And finally, I mean, okay, the true heroes are the trumpets, right? Because they work the hardest, they have the most responsibility, just the weight of the world is on their shoulders. So, now, thank you for coming out. It's really nice to share this with you. This music isn't easy. Brass instrument, playing brass is, I mean, the pedagogy that goes behind playing brass goes pretty deep. Almost gets psychological. It gets weird. It's like, what is brass? So thank you again for coming out to support us. Hopefully this summer we'll have a lot of brass going on, because that's the good stuff. And watch out for our parades. We tend to have lots of brass in our parades, and so just keep in touch, and we'll keep bringing the shows. So for our final piece, we got to bring up Zach Paris again. Zach, where are you? He's our drummer, Zach Paris. Let's give him a hand. Brass players love drums because we really need metronomes all the time. And Zach is one of the best metronomes we can have. Zach, you're a grown man. Tell us about Pokemon.
No comment about Pokemon. It's a worthwhile investment if you collected from when you were 12 years old. We'll just say that.
You have to get early. You have to get in early, folks, if you want to cash in on this Pokemon business. But I was a little too old when Pokemon came out. I think our Cody kids, you guys, you like the Pokemons, right? You're catching them all. For those of you not familiar, well, that picture's pretty accurate. It's kind of like cage fighting, but with like creatures, the weird creatures. I don't. Yeah. I don't exactly know, but you must collect them all. So the interesting thing about this theme is this was the original theme for they have a TV show, and then they have many versions of it. It's been going on far too long. By the way, parents, if you want your kids not to like something, go ahead and get into it yourself, and they will be off of it so fast. I'm serious. I mean, it's like, don't hate the Pokemon, embrace it, and then they'll stop watching it. The person that wrote this, his name was John Siegler, and he wrote it thinking he just wrote the song thinking it's for some weird show, some cartoon, and then sold it off. He does not get any royalties, otherwise he'd be a billionaire right now. But the theme lives on in all of our hearts, and we brought in Zach. He was able to nail this in one rehearsal because he has this theme memorized. But this is the Pokemon theme. This is the most recent that we're going to be as far as time-wise, but thank you again, you guys, for coming. It really means a lot to us when you come and support us, but I already see the cameras right. You guys didn't care until we played Pokemon, right? I knew it. Okay. Thank you again. Here is Pokemon theme.
Thank